Okay. So we'll see how to perform the reconciliation between payables and the general ledger application. Okay, how to perform the reconciliation between payables and general ledger. So before that, just we'll go and run the create accounting program. I think the last time when we submitted create accounting program, so I think it was not pushing accounting entries from the payables to GL. We'll try once again. Create accounting. Select application as payables. Pick our primary ledger. Processing category, don't select any specific category of the transactions. Keep blank, it will create accounting for invoice and payments. Accounting mode, it is not draft. We are going to run final mode. And the processing events, you can just keep as a all. Anything, if any errored out transactions also, it will just attempt to create accounting. Report, how we require detail or summary or no report. Just keep it as a detailed report we need. Transfer to general ledger. Yes, we want to transfer to general ledger. The accounting entries, what we are going to generate for payables and invoices and payments. We want to generate accounting entries. The same we want to post in the GL one go. Okay. Submit. Switch to ESS job page. Tools, schedule processes, refresh to monitor. Meantime, we'll just navigate to GL and we'll check imported journal entries. Yeah, you could see many transactions. One second. We have huge transactions. I think these are reported to GL, but it's unposted mode since period status is not open. Let's just open the period. Anyway, open the period in payables also. Manage accounting periods. Refresh. Okay, done. Now we will be able to post the journals which are belongs to current month, Feb. Yeah. Go to journals, journals work area, manage journals. And post it. Now you can submit for posting.
Lakshman,
Yeah,
in AP you have opened the period, right,
correct.
at ledger level. So
Yes.
if under single ledger I have multiple BUs, will it allow, is it opening the period for all the BUs, or the only data access set assigned to that user, those BUs only?
For all the BUs, the control,
Okay.
opening and closing periods, control works at ledger level. So whatever you are doing at ledger level for payables, how many business units you have for all the business units, same status would be applicable.
Okay. Only the create accounting will run at BU level based on the data access set.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Period status is applicable across the BUs which
All the.
are aligned with the
Okay.
same primary ledger. In any application,
Okay.
it could be receivables or any other application, same way it works.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll check the status. Yeah, those got posted. Fine. So now we'll see the concept called as payables to general ledger reconciliation. So what does it mean by payables to general ledger reconciliation? We are creating the transactions and we are accounting and we are transferring to general ledger and we are posting in the general ledger. So we have to ensure as per payables, what are the balances we have? The same balances are reflecting in the GL. Or else we have to identify, is there any difference? Say you created few invoices in the payables, you accounted and transferred to general ledger. Now 10 invoices you created, each invoice amount is 10,000. As per payables, 1 lakh is our liability. The same 1 lakh liability should be transferred to GL application. But in the GL, you may find out 1,50,000 liability. So why the 50,000 variance we are getting? We have to identify. It could be we entered manual journals within the GL with a liability account, or else the liability information is coming from third party application. So finally, we should have a proper reason, acceptable reason if there is any variance. Otherwise, always we have to ensure the payables liability is matching with the GL liability. Okay, what are the liability we are just transferring from payables to GL, that should match. So to perform this reconciliation, what steps we have to follow, we'll see. So first we have to we have to identify and set the control accounts. In accounts payables, the liability account. Okay, liability account or accounts payable account we call as control account. As per accounts payables, liability account we call as control account. Say, set financial category for AP control accounts. So how many liability accounts you are using? We may use one or multiple also. Few clients, what they do, they may use one liability account for all the foreign supplier and other liability account maybe for local suppliers. Or it could be in the different way also. They may classify all the suppliers into 10 types. For each type of supplier, they can use the different liability account, or it could be only one, whatever it may be. So how many liability accounts we have? For all the liability accounts, we have to set the financial category. The second point. So we have to submit the program which will fetch the liability balances from payables as well as GL application. Say, run payables to general ledger reconciliation program, or say job. Then run payables to ledger reconciliation report. How to submit? Payables to ledger reconciliation report. Three steps process so that we can find out if any variance between the payables and GL, and this report will give the complete information. What are the reasons why we are getting the variance between the payables and GL application for the liability amount, and you can drill down and you can see the exact transaction because of which transaction the variance we are able to see, and you can fix those issues, again run the program, again run the report. Okay, finally we can make sure GL and AP balances are matching for the respective one or multiple liability accounts. Liability account we call as control accounts. Okay, because the liability account will have a control on all the supplier related liabilities. You can use one liability account for 1,000 suppliers also. Supplier wise, you can run the reports and you can find out supplier wise liability. With one account, you will be able to get complete information what is the total liability we have in our organization towards suppliers. We'll see that. Set financial category for AP control accounts. So go to our value set, account value set. The task name is manage chart of accounts value sets. So we are using the name as Alt INC, means it should be account Alt INC. Go to manage values, find our accounts payable account, which is liability account. Here is the liability account. which we used to record the payables invoices. This is the account we mapped in the common options. The same account all the time system is deriving for invoice account. So 21010 is our liability account. If you scroll little right, here we have one attribute called as financial category. For this account, we want to do the payables to general ledger reconciliation. Set financial category as a accounts payable. Okay. Select. Say save and close. If you have multiple liability accounts, for all the liability accounts, this is how we have to set the financial category. Done. Now we have to submit the program. Payables to general ledger reconciliation program. Go to navigator. Go to ESS job page, Enterprise Scheduler Service job page. We are going to submit the ESS job. Navigation is tools, schedule processes, and click on schedule new process. And the program name. Program name is, you can just search with the term called as reconciliation, it will fetch. Here is the program. Prepare payables to general ledger reconciliation. Select. Let's make a proper name. So prepare payables to general ledger reconciliation is the program name or job name, you can say. So what it will do, it will prepare transactions and do accounting information for reconciliation from payables to general ledger application. So which account related balances it has to fetch, we will specify as a part of parameter. Now you want to do the reconciliation for which period? The period name you can specify. Yep. Any period you can give. Let's give the current period. Or you can give Jan 24 reconciliation. And ledger. And if you want to do the reconciliation for specific business unit, yes, you can do. If you don't select any BU, so this current user got access to how many BUs with this primer ledger. For those BUs only, system will generate the reports. You may have a 10 BUs. So 10 BUs, it won't generate the report. If you have access to 10 BUs, for 10 BUs, you can generate this report. Now we have only one BU, the same BU this user got access, the same you can select, or else even if you don't select business unit, no issues. And accounting period, you want to run this reconciliation for which period? You can select here. So let's run for Feb. And here you have to select the account. For which account you want to run this reconciliation? Or control account, accounts payable account. Select account. Provide a liability account. Say okay. Okay. Click on submit. Refresh. So wait for a moment, it takes time to call many child jobs. Let's select hierarchy. Refresh. This is the program we submitted, prepare payables to general ledger. The status is passed. We expand. What are the child jobs? triggered, you could see big list here. Still the program is running. Now the status is succeeded. Done. And now we have to run the report. This report will fetch the data which is collected by this program. Go to invoice task. Will navigate us to invoice work area, or you can call as invoice workbench. Go to task list. And here is the report. Under accounting tab, we have a report called as payables to ledger reconciliation. Click on this task. It is running the report, payables to ledger reconciliation report. It will take maybe just a few seconds. Just wait for a while. It will fetch the balances which are available with our last run. Yep, fine. Now you can see this is the request name we given in the last program submission time, Feb 24 reconciliation. Okay. So, yeah. So extraction date, system extracted data as on this date. For this ledger, this is the request name we given while submitting. Okay. So here is the information. So payables beginning balances. This all system is taking from the previous month. Previous month ending balance or beginning balances. And in the current month, what are the additional transactions we have? Those transactions it will display. So this information as per payables, this information as per general ledger. If any difference between payables and general ledger, the difference it will display here. The difference it will display here. If you find any difference, okay, if you find any difference on the difference amount, you can click, it will drill down and it will show because of which invoice or because of which transaction the difference is resulting here, that you can find. If you have a figures here, you can click on this, it will drill down, it will display the transactions, and the transaction level it will give the message saying that this is the reason. So this is the reason with this transaction, that is reason the payables are not getting reconciled with the general ledger application for the liability account. That's how you can find. Now there is no difference. If you have a difference, click on the difference amount and it will display the reasons for the difference. Once you find the difference, maybe it may give the message saying that the transaction is journal is invoice is not accounted, or it's accounted but not transferred to general ledger. If you find that, what you can do is you can go and fix that issue. You can run the program and you can transfer to general ledger. After completing that, again submit this program, again submit the report. Make sure there is no difference between payables and the general ledger application. Yep. So this is how, and in that case, you have to, again, if you run this, if you find some difference, go and fix it, again run this program, again run this report. When you run this report next time, you have to select another request name. Now this is the request first time we submitted. Second time after doing some correction, if you are submitting another request, the name would be different. You have to give the different name. That name you have to select, accordingly it will produce the results. So this is how we can just perform the reconciliation between the payables and general ledger to make sure the liability account balances are matching between the payables and general ledger. Yep. This is all. Like sometimes we may pass manual entries in the GL. Sometimes the liability account lines may come from third-party applications. In that case, GL side balance are more. You have to verify why those are resulting. So this is how just you can ensure everything is getting balanced. If something is not balancing, you should have a proper reason for that. Okay, that is the purpose of this reconciliation activity. One other point.
Sir,
Yep.
is this process same in EBS also?
So
for reconciliation.
EBS, we don't have this kind of running the program and all. We always go with some custom reports.
Okay.
Okay, in EBS, we don't have, just you'll run the reconciliation program and you'll give the control account. It will fetch the balances and you can view. This all we have to do through some custom report.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So done. Now we'll see payables period close process. So every month end, we have to close that period and we have to move to next period. Reality, do we close the payables period or any application period exactly on last day of the month? No. So every company will have their own window to close the periods. So a few companies will set the target to close any period within 2 days. Few companies within 3 days, few companies 4 days or 5 days or 1 week also. Depending on the volume of the transactions or the number of business units they have. Okay, and number of countries they are operating the business. So many parameters, many things will come in the play. So it may take 2 days time or 4 days time or 5 days time or 1 week time also to close previous period. To close the previous period, it may take time. We'll see, like, say today is 31st, for example. Today is 31st. If today is 31st, there is no issue with the next month. Today is first. We not yet closed previous month, but we have to open current period. We have to open current period. If you don't open current period, at least you keep current period as a future enter. If it is GL period, you can keep as a future enter. Other periods we have to open. GL period you can keep as a future enterable. Payables and other application periods, we have to set the status as open. Since we entered into February month, we have to set February period as a open. Even Jan period is not closed. We cannot wait to set current period status as open. Even previous period is not closed. Because February period transactions we have to start entering in the system. All the business users should record the transaction in the system. That is the reason we open the Feb period. Even what we can say, Jan period is not closed. It may take some time to close the Jan period. Till the time we have to record the transactions in the Feb, which are belongs to Feb. So that is the reason we open, and other side will be working on closing the Jan period. This is how we follow the real practice. Now, whatever it may be the period, if you want to close the period, what process we have to follow? Okay, so we have to make sure that all the invoices are validated in the payables, all the transactions, means invoice and payments accounting entries are generated, the accounting entries are transferred to general ledger application, and few other points you will come across when you are working on FA. You may create asset related invoices. The asset related invoice information we have to transfer to FA, and if any bills payable transactions are there, we have to run the maturity program. This is all we have to run, but this is all you no need to remember. There is a simple report which will give you the complete information. The report is period close exception report. Okay, so you submit validation and accounting and all you can complete. So, but still, simply you can run payables period close exception report. You have to run payables period close exceptions report. Okay, payables period close exception report. What this report will do is, it will list out all the issues which may stop us from closing the payables period. Say in the payables, what are the period you are trying to close, within the period, if any unaccounted invoices you have or unaccounted payments you have, it won't allow you to close the period. You created accounting but not transfer to GL. Don't allow you to close the payables period. Or else you have bills payables. The maturity date is arrived, but you didn't submit the program to update the status from issue to negotiable. So this all system will verify. We'll see what issues could stop us from payables period close. Run this program. Go to ESS job page. So payables period close exceptions report. What it will do, it will list out all the exceptions that prevents closing the Fusion payables accounting period. Okay, the exceptions. What are the exceptions you are going to see? Those exceptions are not going to allow us to close the payables period. Once you clear all the exceptions, you will be able to close the payables period. Fine. I'll just say OK. And select ledger, for which ledger you are submitting this report. And select period. Say we are running this for Feb or March. You select submit. Refresh.
Lakshman, this report also based on the data access to the user or all the BUs under that ledger?
Based on the data access only.
Oh,
Anything user, whatever the action user will perform, the reports they run and process they run, all based on the data access.
Lakshman, we used to have some sweeping process report, right?
Yeah, we'll come across through that. Yes, now the same we are going to see. Yeah. If any issues you are not able to resolve, we sweep. We'll see that in the exception report, that information would be there. Yeah. Okay. Payables period close exception report. Status is succeeded, and just click on this republish icon. It will open the report. So go to gear icon, export, open the PDF format. Scroll little down. So for the current period, there are no exceptions. Here you can see which exceptions you have, if you have in that specific period. Unaccounted invoices. If any unaccounted invoices in the current period, it will display, it will give you the BU name, and how many unaccounted invoices we have, it will give the number. And invoices, okay, incomplete invoices. So incomplete invoices means, so here we'll come across with that concept. So we'll create invoices in the payables based on the scanned images. Those invoices we'll see as incomplete. We'll come across with that concept after some time. Yep. Invoice image solution. That means we can import scanned images into payables. Based on that, we can create invoices. If you are importing any scanned images from the imaging solution, those invoices, the status would be incomplete invoices. If any incomplete invoices, that it will list out the number here, number of invoices. Unaccounted, okay, unaccounted payment activities. If you have any payments which are not yet accounted, that it will list out here. Bills payables requiring maturity event and accounting. If any bills payables which are not submitted that program, those it will list out. And outstanding payment process request. Say the payment process request you submitted and it got selected, you left that program, that it will be reported here. Okay. If you leave any payment process request in between, that will be reported. You have to terminate or you have to confirm. So open intercompany transaction. If you record any transaction between two balance and segment values or two business units, whatever, those will be reported here. And if you create accounting entries and if those accounting entries not a transfer to general ledger application, that will list out how many transactions we have here. And other exceptions, other than this, if any other exceptions, it will list out. And those information, if you scroll down, you will see those complete information. Okay. Whatever you see, if system is displaying unaccounted invoices are 5, if you click on that 5, it will display in this report itself. So you can take that invoice numbers, you can go back to the payables workbench and you can perform the accounting again. So these are the very common exceptions which we come across, and here there is a remedy for each and every exception. If you come across any unaccounted invoices or unaccounted payment activities as per this period close exception report, what we have to do? Simply you have to submit, create accounting program to create accounting entries for those transactions. And if accounting cannot be created due to holds or other problems that cannot be easily resolved, you have some issue with the invoice, you are not able to create accounting. If you cannot create accounting, you cannot close that period. So then what Oracle is recommending, so the accounting is not needed. You have an invoice and you are trying to create accounting, but system is not allowing with some reason, some error, etc. So, and again, you feel that accounting is not mandatory for that invoice in the current month. Such kind of invoices, okay, you can sweep to the next period. Sweep report. Okay, so payables, unaccounted transactions, and sweep report. So I have only one invoice which I'm not able to account. I'm trying to perform the accounting, it is throwing some message and I'm trying to resolve, but I'm not able to resolve. Now what we have to do is we have to talk to the business. So we have so-and-so invoice, because of that we are not able to close the payables period. Is it okay if you transfer that invoice to the next period? What is the difference between next period and current period? If you create, if invoice is created in the current period, the accounting takes place with the current month specific date on which date you enter the invoice. If you transfer that invoice to next month first date it will take as accounting date. When you create accounting for that invoice in the next month, it will take next month first date as accounting date. Okay, not current month date. That is only the difference. So we have to take the business suggestion. Okay, if business says, okay, sweep to the next period, we have to sweep. It should not be our own decision. Okay, we have to take the business permission. If business says, yeah, you can go ahead and you can sweep. We don't have issue with that invoice. We can sweep to the next period. Since no issues in the current period, we'll be able to close. Yeah, we'll see how to run that sweep program also. And bills payables requiring maturity, event and accounting. So if this report is listing out there are few bills payables transactions are pending to run the program, the only solution is you have to run this program. You have to submit, update bills payables, okay, update mature bills payables status program so that it will update the status from issue to negotiable. And incomplete payment process request. If you come across any incomplete payment process request, okay, nothing but outstanding payables payment request, incomplete or outstanding. So what we have to do is we have to confirm the payment program, nothing but file it will generate, or else you can cancel, nothing but you terminate it. So that's how those will be released. It won't report in the exceptions. So other exceptions. Okay, any other exceptions? Generally, there won't be any such kind of other exceptions. If you come across, just you may take Oracle support or else you can look into that. It depends. And note, if you run the payables unaccounted transaction sweep report with a sweep option, all the exceptions, okay, except the one reported in the other exceptions, other than this, all other exceptions. Okay, select, okay, all the other exception selection will be transferred to the next open period. So what are the exceptions we have in the current period? If you are not able to resolve, if you are not able to fix because of some technical issues, you can sweep to the next period. That is the purpose we use this program. We'll just go and see how this program we can submit. Submit new process. Okay. So payables, unaccounted transactions and the sweep report. It is not only report, it is a program also. It will run the two ways it works. It can display the data as well as it can sweep. It can transfer the exceptions to next period. What it will do? Since the nature is report, it will list out all the invoice and payment that were not accounted for the period or accounting date range. To list out based on the parameter, the same unaccounted entries, it will transfer to the next period also. Say okay. Now, if I submit, it will display which are available as unaccounted in the selected period, Feb. It will display. If I select sweep now as a yes, and to which period? Sweep to period, it would be next period. If you submit, whatever the unaccounted invoices and payments are available in the payables, which we are not able to account, those it will transfer to the next period. And it will change accounting date as a next period first date. So we don't have anything, but this is how you can submit. Okay, we don't have anything. We don't have anything. If anything is here, you can just provide this and you can submit. That's how system will be able to sweep to the next period.
Lakshman, the period should be in open status, right?
Sorry?
Sweep to the period. Whatever the period we select, that should be in open status, right?
The period should be open, sir. Yes, open status.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll just open and we'll transfer. We'll send.
Okay.
So this is how we can run this program. Okay. So this is what we have to understand primarily when we talk about payables period close process. Not only this, any other application also similar process we follow. Very simple. Run the period close exception. Even it is receivables, we'll run the period close exception report. It will list out all the exceptions. We will resolve all those exceptions. System will allow us to close the period. This is the practice we follow. So no company is 99%, no company is closing the period end of the month, exactly last day of the month. Definitely they have to coordinate across all the business unit. Okay, so that's how they close the period. It takes time, 2 days or 3 days or 5 days or 1 week. If company is very big, they have huge, just multiple countries operations, or like maybe in one country, ledgers are specific to country, right? So they have a multiple business unit, large volume of the transactions. They have to pull the data from many third-party systems, and accounting, transferring, just reconciliations. Is all like, if they have a huge activities, it may take 1 week time to complete, or else 4-5 days, or at least 2 days. Okay, if company is very small, they may be in the position to close on the same day, last day of the month, but still difficult here and there. If not in one period, other period, they may get some exceptions. They have to resolve. Sometimes they have to contact Oracle. Sometimes they have to contact technical, or else sometimes we have to analyze and we have to keep hitting to resolve those issues. That's how it works. Yep.
Sir,
Yep.
so like is this process correct? Like first of all, we will be running this period close exception report, and then whatever are the differences, like we will resolve them from this report. Then we will do the reconciliation part, what we have seen, and then we will close the period.
Yes, that's all. You have to ensure all the exceptions are closed. Then you will be able to close the period. Yes.
Okay, so first this, then reconciliation part, and then closing the period, right? Because after closing reconciliation, after closing the period, we cannot do anything in reconciliation also, right? So,
No, reconciliation you can do at any point after. There is no issue. When you are doing the reconciliation also, it will give you the complete information, right? It will show all the issues. If any unaccounted invoices are there, all those details also it will show. You can run before also.
yeah, like, but if we close the period and then if we do this reconciliation, then we won't be able to make any changes, right? To remove the variance. So,
That's what, see, you do anything, you will be able to fix the issues. Yep.
okay.
You will be able to fix the issues. So see, sequence also the same, like you run this and you will fix all those. First of all are getting reconciled. Then you will proceed with this. Even when we are doing this activity, okay, it will give you the complete information, right? When you run the reconciliation, maybe it may show so and so is not accounted, not transferred, right?
Yeah.
That you will come to know here also.
Yeah.
If it is not accounted, it will give the update as a not accounted. If some invoice or payment is accounted but not transferred, it will give the information, the exception, and you will be able to resolve by doing any activity. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So that's all about payables period close. Now let's talk about invoice imaging solution, or you can call as IDR, intelligent document recognition. So
Lakshman,
yeah,
in EBS we have standard reports, right? Invoice history, payment history reports. Like that, do we have in
yeah, we
Fusion?
have reports. Yes.
Oh,
Payables invoice register, payables payment register, invoice, payables posted invoice register, which will display all the transferred invoices information to GL. Yeah, we have all the reports. Here, what we will do is, so next, once we complete this one or two topics, we'll go to, I'll take you to the page from where you can write SQL queries if you want to write in the Fusion. There you see BA reports. There you can see the report. We'll go through those.
okay, thank you.
Here we are going to see that, where you can find specific application related standard reports. Yeah. So the concept is invoice imaging solution or image solution, or you can call as IDR. IDR stands for Intelligence Document Recognition. Here, this is inbuilt solution. We no need to integrate. It's inbuilt solution. If you take the subscription for payables, you don't get it. We need to take the separate subscription for this IDR solution. How it will help? Whatever the invoice you get from the supplier, you can submit that invoice on email ID. Okay. Submit invoice on email ID. Find. Okay. Invoice copy in IDR. Import that scanned image information as invoice into AP. This is the process. So submit invoice. Invoice means scanned invoice. Scanned invoice image. Submit scanned invoice image on email ID, which will be provided by Oracle. Oracle will provide the email ID. On that email ID, we have to submit the scanned invoice image. Who will submit? Anyone can submit. You can give this email ID to your supplier. Ask supplier to submit the scanned images on this email ID. The scanned invoice image could be in any format, document format. Okay, it could be PDF or it could be JPG, it could be in different any format. Almost all the formats can be acceptable by this IDR solution which Oracle is providing. IDR has a capability of reading the data which is available in the different formats. Not only document format, within the document, data format also. Okay. The invoice number or PO number could be in the left or right, or the vendor name. It could be like vendor name or supplier name, etc., or organization name. It could be any text. It has a intelligence to read and understand the data format also. It could be document format or a data format. So any format and any data format or any data format can be scanned by this IDR solution and it can fetch the data. But very important point here is there should be PO number so that this IDR solution can create invoice and the payables successfully, or else it will stuck in between rest of process we have to complete. If PO number is available in the scanned image which we get from the supplier, based on that PO number, system will create invoice in the payables by matching that data, by copying the data from PO to payables invoice. If PO number is there as per the PO, like what is the quantity, who is the supplier, what is the supplier address, so what items we have in that PO, what are the lines we have in the PO, now invoice whatever received from supplier. So what information we have, that matching system can establish. We will see when we work on the P2P cycle, how we create invoice by using the purchase order. Based on the purchase order, how we create invoice, we will see the same process this IDR solution also will follow. The same process, IDR solution. In case of P2P, manually we may match, the same can be automated in this IDR solution. Very important point is the PO number is critical here. Okay, if PO number is there, what are the invoice you get from the supplier? So this invoice imaging solution can understand the invoice need to be created based on which PO, and it can create invoice header, invoice lines, and invoice distribution accordingly. Now,
Lakshman, if the supplier accidentally a typo error of the PO number, it becomes
will
an
stuck. It will come to our invoice IDR solution. Okay. So whenever supplier is going to submit that image on our email ID, okay, that we can find in the IDR or invoice imaging solution page, you can find. When you try to create invoice in the payables, when you try to import, what it will do, it will look for the PO number. Supplier given wrong PO number within the scanned image. That system will not locate the same PO in our system. Then since no PO, it won't accept invoice creation, the payables. Then it will be displayed as incomplete. And then you can talk to the supplier. That's how you can fix. You may just do through manual process or correction, or else you can remove such kind of information and you will be resubmitting the same, or you
but
can complete that through manual process.
that's a good point. But if there are some sales reps represents the sends the expense report as an invoice, right? The expense report doesn't have PO number. What will you do?
Expense report process, we have a separate routing. Here two options. One is invoice, other one is expense report. We are talking about invoice. Expense, two options we have. We have to choose what we are doing. In case of expense report, no, it won't look for any PO numbers. It will accept without any PO. Okay. So here we are talking about invoice, payables invoice creation. Two options Oracle is providing. Expense reports, we have this solution, and we have this solution for invoices. Invoices,
Okay.
we look for PO. Yep. So in case of expense report and all, what it will do, it will look for expense report number, which is available in our Fusion Expense application.
Makes sense.
That's all.
Lakshman, Lakshman, my PO is in another system, but invoice system is Fusion. What we will do?
Doesn't work. If you are creating payable invoice in the payables, okay, definitely you cannot establish that control, right? By just giving the
Yeah.
PO number here, what you can achieve? Nothing. Even the system won't allow you to give the PO number in the respective field. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is in that case no PO. That you have to enter through manual process. Manually, you have to have a control like how much information you have as per that PO. Here, what we are entering manually, you have to do those.
Okay.
Yeah. If
Lakshman, we have
yeah.
any mechanism like train a page, like without PO also can process, with PO also can process.
See, without PO, you can process means you can process, but you have to enter the information system. See, sorry.
See,
When you
this
are
is
creating
scanned
invoice,
images,
no.
based on
One
our
point.
own.
Let's try to understand one point. I'll take if you have any question. When you are creating invoice in AP, if you have a PO information, what system will do? System will copy supplier information, right?
Yeah.
The PO is belongs to which supplier, it will copy the supplier and it will copy the supplier site, and based on your PO only, system will recognize your business unit.
Mm.
And it will copy the PO line information as your invoice line information. Based on lines, the distribution will be created. So imagine there is no PO number. Now you tell me what BU it has to select. There is no clue for system, right? I will have invoice number. When I input invoice number in the system, is it going to fetch anything based on invoice number? Nothing. Right? Your invoice number is not going to recognize your supplier or your BU, supplier site. And it's not going to fetch copy anything from the PO. First of all, PO information is not there. If PO information is not there, completely disconnected.
Yeah, but Artwell also we have some other tools like open text and all. The whatever we get the scanned image from the supplier, we can identify that all the supplier invoices and we can find the uniform invoices and we can train those scan images to our Oracle application images. So based on the train, so whatever the attributes come from the image, it will scan it and read it and load the data automatically. So in that process, same way it will work in even Fusion as well. Do we need to train that scan images to our invoice screen and identify that which are the attributes getting from the
It won't
image?
fetch in that way. It won't fetch in that. We'll see now in the system also.
Okay.
It
Okay,
won't
fine,
fetch.
fine.
If anything, just it will take that information to up to AP, some basic data it will copy, but you have to complete the remaining task. It is not going to be automated. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So if no PO, it will import that information and it will get stuck in the payables as incomplete. Then you have to fill all the details.
Okay, we will see
Fill all
this.
the
Okay,
details.
okay.
Yes, Lakshman, what you are saying is being implemented in my organization.
Okay.
The basic data is being copied, but there is a team who fills in the mandatory data like BU and other things.
Exactly. Because it cannot take, because when supplier is giving invoice, supplier won't give specify our BU information, right? So our BU information system will recognize in this process if PO number is there, because in purchasing it will identify PO. The PO is belongs to which BU. Accordingly, it
Yep.
will be able to select the BU in our payables and it will try to fetch the remaining data. Yep. Yes, manually only we have to do. Like if PO is there, it will be automated, no PO. So manual intervention is required. Yeah. Fine. So another point is we no need to do any additional configuration. Only the point is we have to ensure the subscription is enabled for our instance or not. Okay, the subscription is enabled or not for our instance. Separate subscription is required from Oracle for this invoice.
Lakshman,
or
sorry,
IDR.
Lakshman.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you check with verify with GRN number as well?
Sorry?
GRN number.
GRN number.
Yeah.
Yeah, see. So one second. Sorry. Fine. So that we don't need to worry about it. So PO level. PO level, we are going to specify that information, right? When you create the PO, we specify if we are going to create invoice in the payables application, the invoice need to be created only PO information or PO information plus GRN information. Matching option we specify whether matching option is PO, it will look for only PO when system creates the invoice in the payables. The purchase order level, if you give matching option as a receipt, right? Then without receipt, it won't allow us to create invoice in the payable. Same is applicable here. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That control will be at PO level. Yeah. It's a two-way matching or three-way matching or four-way matching. So that control we specify at PO level. How PO level information is available, accordingly only payable invoice can be created. In this
Okay,
process.
okay.
Yeah. So that anyway, we will see in the P2P cycle, those matching options. Yeah. Okay, done. Now, what we have to do is, we have to check whether IDR solution is enabled or not. Okay. So if it is enabled, and we can just proceed with the process. No additional setups are required. So what we have to do is, first we have to check IDR solution is enabled or not. If not enabled, we have to raise SR. So create SR to Oracle. Service request stating, okay, so the IDR solution is not enabled in that instance, we will request them to enable. Once they enable, then we can start using it. So how to verify, how to review whether IDR solution is enabled for our instance or not?
Is there any additional charge for this, Lakshman?
Yes, that's what I'm keep mentioning from beginning. Separate subscription is required. Separate
Okay.
subscription means separate charge.
Okay, thank you.
It doesn't comes with your payables. Yeah, you have to pay separately for this. Right. So here search for manage intelligent document recognition options. Go to this task. And it is activated for this instance. This is the URL. This is the like email ID. So this email ID, okay. So this email ID we have to share to the supplier. You can share to the supplier, or else your payables team can hold this email ID. What are the invoices we are getting from the supplier? Those invoice images, okay, we can submit on this email ID. Once we submit, or supplier will submit the invoice images on this email ID, where those images can be identified within the instance. Okay, the first step is create SR if required. If not enabled, first you go and check from that page. If it is not activated in your instance, create SR. After creating SR, they may activate, then submit. Okay, already we written here, right? So submit scanned images on the given email ID. Once you submit, where you can find, we'll see that. So go to instance, the instance level. So here is our instance URL. After URL, instance URL, okay, you have to type imaging in lowercase. Just you have to type imaging, instance URL / imaging. Once you log in, you have to do it. Instance URL / imaging. It will take us to imaging solution page. It will take some time. So meantime, we'll try from other instance also. So in some instances, it would be little slow. We'll try from other. It takes time. For the first time, it will take time to load it.
Use Fusion User 2, it will work for this instance.
So it's working. No. So ideally, it will take time for the first time. So that is the reason I'm just trying with other instance also. So anyone can load quickly. I'll just use the user called as FinILPL. Here we can have a sample data. So Oracle is provided.
Sir, if you are speaking, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. It went on mute, I guess. Yeah. Fine. So it was clear, right? Just this is how you can open the images. You can click on any one of the record. Click on that image. You can see the image. This is image submitted on that email ID and the record was created like this.
Which means that this is the invoice attachment.
Voice is
to
low,
the-
voice is bit low. If you can just check once, that would be great.
I mean to say, we are opening the invoices which are already processed in the system, or these are about to get processed.
Yeah, these are available to import into payables.
Payables for processing.
Yes, to create invoices. These are the scanned images
Okay.
which are available in the IDR solution. Now, this
Okay.
information we have to import into payables to create convert as invoices.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. These are available. These are ready to import into payables. That's all. So here you can see, and if you want to do any changes to any invoice, the records which are available in this, the imaging center, even you can call as web center, all are same. Web center, content, or invoice imaging solution center, imaging center, okay, or invoice imaging solution, or IDR, all are same. So the different naming conventions. If you want to modify anything, you can select the record, click on update, and you'll be able to modify the data here itself. Okay, you can modify the data. And so this is how you can just play with the data. Say you received some wrong invoice, you identified, you can delete it. So from here itself, you can delete the record, the imaging center itself, document deleted. These are all actions you can take. So now, once you just review these images which are available here, you can go to payables, you can import these images into payables application by submitting the program. Go to invoice work area, payables, invoices. And you could see scanned infolet. Okay, these are all boxes we call as infolets. So scanned. Here you can see more than 15 days ago, 22 scanned invoice images are imported. Just click on those 22. The 22 you can see here. These are all like stuck in the payables since there are no PO numbers. For all these, no PO numbers. Identifying PO, no PO. For this PO number is there, but some issue it got just stuck here as invalid. And there may be the PO number, the number what is here, it is, may not be valid. And you can see for most of all are stuck where PO number is not there. So just you can open any one of the invoice. You can just click on any one of the invoice record. What are the scanned image we are submitting to imaging center that will come to payables also as attachment. Okay, based on which image we are trying to create invoice, that will come to payables as a attachment. For this information system capturing based on this image. Okay. So this is how just you can get that information. Here is the attachment, same image. Click on it. So this is the image. As attachment, you can see. If PO information is there, everything you can fill and you can complete. If PO information is not there, this is all you have to enter. You have to enter. System cannot copy from the based on the reference number which is available. It cannot copy, like if you have a PO, that is a reference, so that it can copy the information from the based on the purchase order. If purchase order is indicating like receipt information also required, accordingly it will try to create the lines. Based on the lines, it will create the distribution. So this information is entered through manual process. Okay, this information is entered manual process. Few details it will copy from the scanned image. So if everything is fine, like it will just create invoice here, we can follow the standard process what we follow. You can notice the status as incomplete. Okay, incomplete. If you see other invoices, you see the status as not validated. The invoices which are coming from imaging center, for those invoices only you can see the status as a incomplete. For other invoices, whatever you create directly in the payables, or if any other application you are getting the data, if invoice is not validated, it is like not validated. So why it is incomplete? Because invoice information itself incomplete. So that is the reason the invoices which are coming from the imaging center with incomplete information, you can see those invoices status itself as incomplete. Okay. So that's what we have to understand. Now, say few scanned images are available in the imaging center. Those may be valid or invalid. That is secondary point. How to import? If valid images are available in the imaging center, how to import? Go to task list. The task name is import invoices. Go to import invoices task. So select your business unit, but business unit selection is not mandatory, not required directly. You can select your primary ledger. So based on the access the user has for which business unit, accordingly this import action will take place. So here you can select, this is a different instance. You can select maybe ledger as US primary ledger. And source, which is source? So imaging source. Here you can find invoice image. This is the source. And provide the required parameters. If anything else you want to specify, then submit. Now, within this imaging center, okay, if any invoice are available, so this is a primary ledger name we give it. Okay, if it is our environment, you can give our primary ledger name. Just anyway, just this how to do this we have to understand. So with this primary ledger, okay, with this primary ledger, what are the business units are associated with those, or else you can select BU filter also, it is okay. Only depending on the user access, okay. With this BU, what are the images are available within that? How system will see with this BU? Where is the BU information here? No BU, but it will look at the invoices. It will look at the invoices. Accordingly, it will just it will look at the PO numbers and it will try to import. So what are the PO numbers are matching with this? It will take, but system will try to pull the information. So into payables application, even PO number is not there, it will take, but it will struck. And for that, we have to talk to Oracle, whether you want to pull that information. If PO number is available, even PO number is not available, you want Oracle to pull the information into payables based on some other parameters, criteria. Later, we will just do the required changes and will process to the next step. That we can talk to the Oracle based on our requirement. They can set that criteria of pulling the data. By default, it will pull with this business unit if any, the POs which are available, the POs are matching with this BU, that data only it will pull into the payables application. This is how you can submit. So with this business unit means with the invoice imaging center, what are the scanned images are there, what are the PO numbers available. So which PO numbers are belongs to same business unit, that information will import into payables application. There you can find as just successful invoice are created or else it got stuck with the different reasons. So see, these are just already imported, again imported, it is indicating as a duplicate invoice. Okay, few indicating as it's invalid. So, right, there is no number for this. Okay. Sometimes what happens is the image what we get from the supplier, the imaging solution may not capture that information properly. In that case, you can submit that image to Oracle support and you can specify from this kind of scanned images, system is not fetching the invoice number or PO number, then they will do that mapping. For this scanned image also, they'll take into consideration, they'll upload in the environment and they put that algorithm, the alignments in the system. Then from the time, the system will be able to understand. So if scanned image data format is in this, if it has this kind of framework of the data, still system will be able to fetch the data from that kind of formats also, data formats. That's how Oracle can help us to set that additional, which system is not recognizing, which IDR is not recognizing, they can do the mapping and they can fix it. So that's how it works. Okay, these are the points we have to understand. We no need to do any additional configuration. We have to check if your client already taken the subscription, first point. Okay, so the clients who are taking the subscription for invoice imaging solution, so make sure that that is activated. If not activated, raise as up. They will allocate on email ID. So that email ID you can give it to the payables team to submit images on that ID, or else the payables team may give to suppliers also. Suppliers directly can submit images on this email ID. The second point is once submitted, those you can find at the imaging center and those you can review if they're required, you can do the required changes. You may delete or you may do amendment changes and you can just review the information. Once information is available, submit the import program. Okay, so the source should be invoice imaging. It will import the images from the imaging center to payables depending on the mapping. By default, the criteria is the PO number should be there, it will import. Otherwise, even PO number is not available. If you want to import based on some criteria, you can talk to Oracle. They will set up those all the filters as per your requirement also. And even PO number is not there, you can import into payables. There you can just go and do the required mapping, selecting the right supplier information or other details. You can complete remaining part through manual process. But if you are submitting invoices with the PO, this will work. Okay, if you are submitting, if you have a business use case like most of the invoices you get without POs, that is not a right solution. Okay, so that's how it works.
Lakshman,
So
if
yeah,
we have a multiple BUs, how do system knows if this invoice has to go which BU?
multiple POs based on the PO number.
Okay. If you don't have PO information,
If you don't have PO information, you will copy some draft information as incomplete information. There manually you have to select. That is for which PO, BU. Okay, all the details you have to select.
okay.
Just
In
it will
invoice.
copy that invoice number and all, and it will put the status as a incomplete. Means data also not entered. Just it is copied.
Okay.
See, when
So
you
you
are
mean to
creating manual invoice in the system, it won't allow you to enter the line information without providing header information, right? It will show
Yes.
so and so fields need to be entered before proceed. But in case of scanned image, Oracle is allowing. It will copy the line information also, even if it complete the header information.
Yeah.
And they'll
so
mark the
Lakshman,
status as incomplete. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, you mean to say that the solution work for only matched invoices?
Yeah, PO based invoice.
Okay.
Correct. So these are the points we have to understand related to this IDR solution. So
Lakshman,
this is the
do
review
we
part.
have any logs captured within Fusion if there are any changes made to any invoice?
So any changes, yeah, you can just see anything, just any invoice you can take. Okay, additional logs, or you are talking just
Yes.
yeah, that audit logs you have to go and set. You have to enable for a specific which action you have to do, but it will create some performance issues. Yes, you
Okay.
would enable the audit logs for anything.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, just it's a
Thank-
basic information that history it will capture here. If I take this invoice, I
Okay.
can see who created and who updated. Just go to view and about this record. I can see this user created. When created, this was the date. And who updated, last updated by and time, etc. You can see. Yes, for any activity, any transactions you create or any kind of setups also. Whatever you do in the system, you can enable the audit logs, but generally it is not recommended. System performance will come down. Sometimes if there is some incident and all, something is very sensitive setup, etc.
Oh,
Still system can capture who did that change. It can capture more than that. If you want to capture again within that setup, see, if there could be some setup related to some common options, for example. Who completed the common options related configuration? If you want to check, you may check which user did and all. But you cannot verify within that exactly what setup is changed, right?
okay.
What
Yeah.
field, what action.
Yeah.
This can be captured with audit logs.
Okay.
So for that reason,
So the basic information like who lastly modified the invoice, we could get it from the
exact
invoice history,
record level,
record level.
fields level, actions level. If you want to track audit logs.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Fine. Okay. So remaining concepts we will close tomorrow. So just I'm going to show you from where you can write SQL query. If you know SQL, how to write SQL query. In case of cloud, how to write, we'll understand here. If you don't know SQL, my suggestion is you may spend 1 hour time in YouTube. Okay, you can search for Oracle SQL select statements. That's it. You search for this. Okay, statements, and you may spend 1 hour time how to write Oracle SQL select statement. That information is enough for you. That knowledge will be enough. Sometimes ideally we no need to write any SQL queries and all. Sometimes when you are working in maybe support project, implementation project, certain fields you don't see from the front end. Everything you can see from the back end respective tables. If you want to verify, this information will be useful. You may spend 1 hour time to learn Oracle SQL select statements. You don't need to learn other update or create, etc. Not required. If you are able to fetch the data to view, that is enough. You may spend 1 hour time. If you know already SQL and all, that's okay. But anyway, in the tomorrow session, I'll show you from where you can write the SQL query in case of cloud. We cannot use the third-party tools to write it. So in case of SaaS, you cannot use. In case of PaaS, they are giving some option to write with some limited tools. So we'll see that. And OTBA reports, how to create the OTBA report. No coding, no programming is required. It's a drag and drop option you can create, and we'll see the formats also. At the time of bank account creation, we use a standard check format, which Oracle is providing. But in every implementation, based on the banks which client is using, accordingly, formats need to be customized by technical consultant. What process is involved? What is our role? What is the role of technical consultant? What is the role of technical consultant? We'll discuss all these points and we'll create the new formats also for our understanding purpose. This is the point just I mentioned. If somebody is from the EBS background to compare with the Fusion, I mentioned how it works in MOAC or security profile works in EBS, how it is similar to Fusion. Just I'll compare just for understanding if somebody is from EBS background. Yeah. These all will just will be able to complete. If time permits, we can start working on the P2P. means we have to complete the inventory setups, purchasing setups, so that we can see how to create the requisition, how to approve it, how to create the purchase orders based on the requisition, approving the purchase order. So creating invoice based on the purchase order. The other scenarios, like we'll see how to create the receipt against the PO, how to create invoice based on the PO and receipt, and how to create invoice automatically in the payables based on the receipt. We will see all the use cases. Yeah. So it won't take much time. SQL, OTBI and format. Yes, tomorrow we'll be able to start working on the P2P configuration after completing all this. This all won't take more than 1 hour time. So less than 1 hour you can complete. Then we can kick off with the P2P configuration also. Yeah. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, you can just stay back. We can discuss. If no questions, we'll connect tomorrow, same time. See, just you completed all your primer ledger and you created your business unit and you are doing, you complete all AP setups and instance went down. In that case, you no need to worry about it. Use this FinIMPL user. Okay, in every environment you can find FinIMPL user, which Oracle is providing. Go to security console. The same we use today also. So here, find Fin_IMPL. So reset the password. Here you can find all the roles are assigned already. So which you know already which roles need to be assigned
Yeah,
to.
can you tell to the team to use the same password like welcome? If they reset, you can easily log in, Lakshman, because if I reset and practicing, someone is again resetting the password.
Yes, yes, yes. Better you can just go with the password like maybe welcome one. Yeah.
Yeah.
W
Okay.
caps you can use, rest lowercase one.
Or else, Lakshman,
Yeah.
the instance which you provide, right, Fusion user to the same password we can use here so that everyone.
Yeah, best. Yeah, that is a good, nice thought. Good idea. Yeah. Yeah, the same password you can set here. What are the password you are using? Like Fusion at the rate of 111. You set the same so that username will be changed, the password remains same. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
even anyone change also, same password they can set and refer that.
Correct. Yeah, great. Correct. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, that you can do. And when we are working on the system, okay, what you can do is use primer ledger as a US primer ledger. Primer ledger name is US primer ledger. Business unit you can use as a US1 business unit. That's all. Primer ledger,
Okay.
US
Let's
primer
see.
ledger, business unit is US. Suppliers will have many suppliers which are already assigned to that business unit. You can search with the A, supplier name will come, with the B, you can search, you will get. See, go to invoice workbench. So bank accounts also you can see, mostly you can search for Bank of America bank account and many accounts also mapped. All will work, or else you see this existing invoices, all this, okay. So ABC supply, ABC consulting, so Lee supplier, staffing services, many suppliers. Here you can refer also. So business unit name is US1 business unit. Okay. So just make a note of these points. If you come across with that case, just you are almost set ready and instance went down and data got refreshed. So you can use these credentials and you can complete and you can proceed. Yeah. Try with this. So if no questions, we'll connect tomorrow same time and we'll try to close the remaining few open items in the payables and we'll start with the P2P cycle also tomorrow itself. Yeah, done.